changes that have happened and why they've happened. We're back, and now we appear like two on a cuckoo clock. You know those ones that come out and hit the. That's what I said to Chris Williams. He did that face. Right. Okay. So Stevens in goal. The back the back six, to be honest, unchanged from what we've been used to seeing in the league, with McGuane and obviously Goran as part of that, and then Liam Kelly in the middle. What do you think you get from those three in the middle that will?
What A-Rod brings to the side, he's very much a move it on. He can do more than that, but I think with the players he's got in front of him, he doesn't need to. We've seen the last few months really, Marcus McGuane has just come into his own and grown from the player we saw early on. Actually, in the pre-season games,
yeah,
that's
brilliant.
who I was expecting to see. And I think once games got competitive, he went into his shell a little bit because he's coming into first-team competitive football for one of the first times in his career. But now we're seeing that player come back again, as you can't see because the graphics in the middle, but they're coming out to warm up behind us.
Okay. I can get.
Fantastic to watch. And then with Kells, you've obviously got the passing and the intricate play around that. So I think that's why
Shadipo on the left, Henry on the right, presumably, and Taylor in the middle up top. Just better connection. It is all.
Keep going. Let's go.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I think those three sort of speak for themselves. You've got Henry, who's been the top goal scorer for a few years. You've got Taylor, who was last year, and obviously is well proven at this level. And you've got Shadipo, who hadn't scored before coming to us, and now sort of can't stop scoring.
Yeah, they bring you a little bit, I was going to say balance, but actually in their balance, they're unbalanced. So Shadipo's much more direct pace. And then obviously we know what J-Mo can do with his
also pace
ball in. So that sort of asymmetric
Oh, no.
Aaron, I think if I gave you the opportunity to play a game every day of the week, you would play every day, correct?
Yeah, I like football very much. Yeah, I like the games.
So what happens when you have a blank weekend? I mean, like last weekend, just frustration?
Yeah, no, yeah, of course, it's a little bit of frustration there, but I feel like the current times it's gonna be games called off. But yeah, I felt like I was saying in the interview before that the coaching staff and the gaffer came up with a great plan. We made the most of the time. We trained hard. We had time off to recover. So I feel like we're in a good place, you know. And yeah.
You recharge the batteries, and then we are going to have a hell of a run. There are going to be a lot of games very quickly, aren't there?
Yeah, for sure. So it kind of like, obviously it's frustrating when you don't play, but if you look at it in the positive side, it probably gives us like a week of like good training, get everyone at a good level, everyone is fit, everyone is looking good. So yeah, we're in a good place to face this last part of the season.
Kicking off with Bristol Rovers on Saturday. I don't know if you know, but we don't have a very good record against Bristol Rovers. When the fans are there at home, for some reason we struggle. No fans this time. Easy, isn't it?
I don't know. Every game in this league is tough, you know. I'm not a big believer of records and all these things, you know. You only good on the day, you know. It doesn't matter what happened 5-10 years ago or last year. It's irrelevant. It's different teams. We are in good form and we need to keep going. And yeah.
Are we now? I just asked Rob Atkinson the same question. We're looking at the teams above now, aren't we? Not looking at the ones below us.
Yeah, I felt like we always had the belief that we had a good squad. Just so many new faces. It's going to take a little bit of time to gel. It took a little bit of time, but I knew we were going to come good. And obviously, I don't think we have reached the full potential yet. We got a lot of stuff that we can improve, and we are working on it. But yeah, we head in the right direction, and we need to keep heading that way.
Consumer-wise, they've been with us for many years in lots of different sort of guises. Found out a little bit more about the history of their connection with the football club week. Since I've been here for 5 years, we've dealt with Clayton, who's their financial director, and so obviously probably late 90s, and then the relationships built and developed over the years. They've done things with us like sponsorship of the Girls Centre of Excellence, as it was then, and the women's back recently that they've done sort of corporate client hosting in Matchday hospitality, match sponsorship as they are today.
Once more, just in case when it did cut out, you didn't get the sound as well. That's Grondon Waste Management. Right, okay, so your job at the moment, without any fans, we're in a box at the moment, which would normally have some fans in it.
It would be rife with activity. Obviously Bristol Rovers big game today. We have 30 corporate boxes here. We'd have expected to sell the majority of them for this game, as well as be busy with, as you know, sort of 200 lounge guests as well as boardroom guests. there'd be the buzz, the anticipation, the build-up from sort of 1 o'clock when corporate guests are allowed in. It's a very different way of having a match day, but
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining. And if your company or you think your company could get involved, contact Adam or Rosie. Who pulls rank out of the two of you?
Oh, definitely me.
Oh, okay. Has he stopped going on about his achievement recently?
No.
Oh, excellent. He hasn't changed. That's what we like. Right, okay. I have got another interview right now with Rob Atkinson. Full interview in iFollow, but here's a
I don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse not having a game last weekend. Would you? Obviously, you'd have rather had the game on, would you? Or
yeah, we'd had 2 weeks before that, and that felt like an eternity. Honestly, it was getting a bit boring. Very frustrating, and the fact that everyone was in the state of mind for the game. I was halfway up the M1 to the hotel because we've all got to drive now because of COVID, and to get the message, I've had to take a long detour for ages to get to Oxford. It's a bit of a nightmare day, really, and so yeah.
what was the alternative? You come in and train?
We came in and did a really tough training. Probably for a centre back anyway, it's probably harder training than actually playing in the game. So I was aching the next day.
I like that because it's a long time since you were moaning at me in pre-season. I think you said to me, "Running's not my game." I think you said to me in pre-season.
Not at all. It was like pre-season actually. We did the famous 4-minute run. I probably actually did better in pre-season than I did now.
I had to go for a walk with my wife. I'd rather have done the 3-minute run. I'd rather have been doing the running. No. Oh gosh, you're not going to see this, I hope. But it should mean we're rested at least, shouldn't it? At least, all the knocks and bruises and the aches gone.
Yeah, we've got no injuries, well, apart from Moose right now, and we've got to use this time as an advantage, really. We've rested, we've had plenty of days off, and we've had some very good training sessions. We've worked on things, and hopefully we can bring all of that into the game on Saturday.
But then it's feast or famine because we've had no games for 3 weeks, and suddenly you're going to go into about 20 games in 20 days or something. It's going to get busy, isn't it?
Yeah, this seems to have done that quite a few times this season. We've had, Saturday, Tuesday, and then a little break due to postponements, and then another stretch of Saturday, Tuesday. So in that sense, we're kind of getting used to that sort of routine now. In today's climate, we've got to expect, we can't expect, but there are going to be games getting called off, as we've seen, not only for COVID, but as on Saturday, the weather as well.
For your own peace of mind, and I'm straying a little bit here, I find it helps me. We're getting tested twice a week. For your own peace of mind to be tested regularly, I think mentally, it's a real bonus for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Before we'd get, I don't know who was it, the PFA or something? Yeah. Before that, we were not getting tested at all, and it was kind of down to players if they felt not here. Credit to our medical team. It was always we're on top of everything, and you come in, you get your temperature checked. You've got to check for symptoms and whatnot, and everything's really good. But what we've heard from other clubs is the players have got to test themselves, and by then it's probably too late. You've already spread it to everyone. But
I should touch what we're saying now, because guarantees something will go wrong between Saturday. But no, just nice to get playing again. Are we now looking? We are looking upwards, aren't we? It's the clubs above us we're chasing now, not the ones below us we're worried about.
That's fine. It's good to say it like that. But one bad result on Saturday, and it's things. Football's such a weird and wonderful game. You never know what's going to happen, do you? It's such unpredictable. But we've got the momentum now, and hopefully we can use that to kick on, and, as you say, look up, keep going.
Excellent. So thank you for sticking with us. Again, if there were any technical difficulties, really sorry about them. We're trying to power through here with club historian back live, and I'm trying a different connection now. So hopefully it will work throughout, but we will see. Right, okay. So Martin, what are we like against Bristol Rovers?
This is when you want your screen to go black. Not brilliant over the years. They better than us. I think they've won 24 to our 19 over quite a few meetings. But more recently, the recent record, I guess, is more relevant, is we've not beaten them at home since 2011 when we beat them 3-0.
Okay, but at the moment, does the home and away really count without fans in?
I think there must still be some advantage of playing at home. You've obviously got, after travelling for the home team, you're more aware of the way the pitch works and the surroundings. So I think there is still a slight advantage, maybe not as pronounced as when the fans are in the ground, but again, if we lose, then maybe I'm not talking any sense. I'm talking rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I suppose at 5 o'clock, it's new history been made, isn't it? Right, played for both.
Oh, lots. Notably, Matty Taylor, obviously. There's been Liam Sercombe recently. Going back, Jefferson Louis, Chris Hargreaves.
Jefferson Louis, of course, he's played.
He's played for every club going. In fact, he went to Bristol Rovers from us. So,
okay. I was saying just before we started, just before we went live, one of the times, that the interesting thing is, certainly over the last sort of 30 years, as long as I've been a supporter, we've basically been in the same league as them throughout. There's been the odd season one gets promoted or relegated before the other, but
and obviously there was that gap when we were in the conference, but they had just one season in the conference, lucky things. But we played a lot of games against them, quite intimately, I guess. But I was looking at their lineup today, and it's very different. There's very few players in there that I recognise. Certainly, I would associate with Bristol Rovers anyway. They've got people like Max Emma, who's the captain, who I remember from Gillingham. But very few that I would actually know. So they've had a lot of changes recently, and I think it might be part of the reason why they're towards the bottom of the table at the moment.
Yeah, quite possibly. You need that time to gel.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I actually have a bit of a quiz question for you that I haven't in any way told you that I was going to do. According to Wikipedia, so it might not even be true. Liam Sercombe and Matty Taylor each spent 3 years at Bristol Rovers.
Right.
According to Wikipedia, who made more appearances? It is close. For them.
Yeah. Sercs, I would think.
Liam Sercombe made 103 appearances.
Right.
And Matty Taylor made 118.
Oh.
So, very close. But
Matty Taylor's there. So give him much more satisfaction when he scores today, then.
Yeah, certainly hope so. Right, okay. What do you not have in your hand because you've forgotten it?
It is not the Matchday programme.
Yes, but there are Matchday programmes.
There are Matchday programmes. Very few remaining already for the pre-orders. So if you want one, email programme@oufc.co.uk very soon, because otherwise they'll all be gone. We've already sold out of the Cambridge programmes from last week. So they are quite a popular item, even though the fans aren't in the ground.
Which Cambridge is currently covered in snow.
Yeah, so I've just seen on TV,
There we go.
There you go.
Right, okay. Well, thanks very much for joining me, Martin.
Pleasure.
I am going to show you. So we are now through to the quarterfinals of the Papa John's Trophy. Let's have a look.
Draw tonight.
Draw tonight at 9:30.
Is it? Okay.
I think so. It'll be on Quest, I'm sure.
Right,
okay. Let's have a look at how we got there, excluding the penalty shootouts, because this would have been so long. It's madness. Okay, so we are back live. It seems that our technical issues are over. touch wood. Right, okay. So if you want to watch today's game, you can head to iFollow. Make sure you get a match pass if you are not a season ticket holder. And more information on iFollow just here.
Follow in your heart, in spirit, in soul. You make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world. From the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks. You're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There's no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, no better way to show your love. When you can't be there with iFollow.
Excellent. So go over and get your match pass from iFollow. But first, right at the beginning of this broadcast, we talked about team news. I talked to Kat about the lineup and so on, but we had a lot of technical difficulties. So let's do this again now. There we go. Right. Okay. Yeah, it's all mirrored. So excuse our lag, trying to dodge into the gaps. Right. Okay. So the back six, sort of as expected, as it's sort of been in the league when they've all been available. And then just in front of Alex Gorin, you've got Liam Kelly and Marcus McGrain. What do those three in the centre of midfield add that is particularly strong against any opponent, really?
Yeah, I think all three of them bring something different to the table. And I think that's one of the things that the gaffer likes about that combination. Obviously, hopefully soon we'll see more and more of, also you've got Cameron Brannigan to come into that mix, who again is a different type of player. So we've got some really good options in that midfield, but you've definitely, obviously we all know what you get from A-Rod, with his ability to break up play, win the ball.
E-player, British Ray.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know whether to do the double L or the Y sound then. I'm sure it came across, but
and then in front of that, you've got Marcus McGrain, who, if any of you heard me talking at the top of the show, I talked about how in pre-season we saw a player who really picked the ball up and ran with it and hurt teams by running at them with the ball. And maybe in the early months of the season, whether it was nerves, whether it was playing in competitive football for some of his first steps really in adult competitive football, been playing B football previously. And it took him a little while to get going, but I think in the last few months, end of November, certainly through December, and when we have been at our best, is when Marcus McGrain is able to run at players. He drifts past players so well. I said at the beginning of the season that I thought he reminded me of a Joe Rothwell type. And when Joe was here, I'm not sure we ever quite managed to get the best out of him. Now. But and we certainly knew there was a player there. He just didn't quite fit into how we played, but I think Marcus really, really does in this side, especially with when you know that you've got a player like Alex Gorin who's going to sit in for you. It gives you that freedom to drift a little bit. And then on the other side with Kells, you've got a player who is growing into much more of a box-to-box player. Maybe we certainly didn't see that in his first spell, but as he gets fitter, we're seeing that a little bit more. But he can pick those passes that I think other players can't, and he's got that vision. Yeah,
I think with Kelly and Gorin, it's as much what they do off the ball, isn't it? If Long or Ruffles goes forward, then straight away the centre-back moves over and A-Rod sort of fills that.
Yeah, and I think that's a role that I know obviously fans love players that will tackle like A-Rod does. That's always going to get fans on side, but there are little bits that he does in his game. Obviously, there's bits on the ball that can be better, but that's why he's with us and not playing at a higher level when you've got a player that covers as much ground as he does, that he can frustrate in possession, but out of possession he makes us tick, which is why I think as much as when we're a possession-based side, sometimes I think management want a player in that role who's better on the ball, and we've seen other players try and play there, but he allows the players in front of him to do their jobs. I think that's such a vital role in any side, certainly at our level.
Yeah, absolutely. And then moving forward, we've got Henry presumably on the right, Stipo on the left, and Taylor up top. With the goals that those three can score and are scoring, they sort of pick themselves, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think the only one there is obviously Obita to come in somewhere around there. But at the moment, I think certainly Shadipo on the left is making himself undroppable. He just seems to have a knack at the moment of scoring. He's got that roof-esque finish of cutting in and picking out that far corner, which I think he's done here 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
and it's that,
or if he hasn't scored, he's come flipping close.
Yeah, and it's that goal that Roof scored against Swansea. It was the Swansea goal. Which is just, even if you know a player's going to do it, it's so hard to defend against when they get that bend right.
Yeah.
And I think he adds that pace on the side as well, which counters with Henry on the other side, who's maybe a little bit, he doesn't have the pace. He'd be the first one to say that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But adds that experience, everything else that he brings. And then obviously with Matty Taylor, I think you'd have had to have chained him in the training ground somewhere to keep him away from this lineup today.
Yeah, but on the bench we do have Winnall. Is he? I know he's coming back from an injury, so maybe sort of the game against Forest Green the other day helped pick up that sharpness. Once he gets one, it's going to be one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Sam's an incredibly experienced player. Very much like when Matty first came into the squad last season, it took him until that Lincoln game to get the goal. It was actually a long period, and then again at the start of this season, there was a long period of time where it was bits and pieces. He got the odd goal, but it wasn't so the finish he wanted. Maybe the confidence wasn't there. And I think with Sam, as his confidence grows and his fitness grows, because he's been a long time out of football, he needs that match day fitness. But I think we'll start to see the player. I think it's hard to give a full verdict on him now, and he wouldn't want that yet. But I think we'll see a real player come into it and give Matty real competition up front when he does get fit.
Absolutely, I completely agree. They have now gone back in, which means we've overrun for one thing, and we're 10 minutes away from kickoff. If you haven't got your Matchday pass, make sure you go and do that now. Enjoy the game. And I'm pleased that our technical issues were sorted. So if you've stuck with us throughout, thanks very much. And thanks for